Welcome to the Meyer Minute of Joy. This week is not such a joyous week. This week is the saddest week of the year on the Jewish calendar. Next Monday night and Tuesday is Tisha, the 9th of Av, which commemorates, amongst many other things, the destruction of both the first and second Holy Temple in Jerusalem. On Tisha, in Shul, we're going to read the book of Lamentations, the book of Eicha, and I'd like to share with you a question, a story, and hopefully an answer. Jeremiah the prophet, King Yirmiyahu, wrote the book Eicha, which has been read by Jews for nearly 2,500 years now, and in it he writes, Al Eila ani bochia, for these my eyes cry, I cry, Eini yarda moyi, my eyes shed tears. He says on these, which is the plural. And then later on in the book, in chapter 5, he says, Al zeh hayod zavei libenu, on this my heart was saddened, is mourning. Al Eila, on these, choshu eineinu, our eyes have been darkened. Again, when it comes to the eyes, he seems to be talking about plural tragedies. When he speaks about the heart, he says, on this my heart is mourning. Why does he go from the plural to the singular? In 1976, there was a Mr. Singer who was a photographer, and he was told to visit, he was recommended that he visit a man named Rabbi Chaim Binyamin Katzenellenbogen in Meir Sha'arim. He lived in a little hovel, and whose face and beautiful countenance lit up probably as much as the electric lights in his apartment did. I happen to have known this man personally, a very special and holy man. And Mr. Singer went with his camera to photograph Rabbi Katzenellenbogen, but as soon as he came in and he saw the man's countenance, he put aside the camera and he decided instead to take in the man's soul with his own soul. Well, Mr. Singer asked the rabbi, he said, tonight I'm going to go to the Western Wall to pray. Tell me, what should I have in mind? What should I be thinking about? It's Tisha B'Av, it's the saddest day, it'll be crowded, there's a lot going on. What should I be thinking about on Tisha B'Av? And Rabbi Katzenellenbogen said to him, let me tell you a story. He says, a number of years ago, there was a man who lived just a few doors down from here. Don't know if the story is true or not, but he said he lived just a few doors down from here, and he had enough of the poverty. It was so difficult for him. One day he went and bought a lottery ticket, and he came home and he told his wife, he said, look, hold this ticket, I have trust in God, we're going to win, and our problems will be over, we'll be wealthy. He says, guard this ticket. And the woman watched all day, she guarded the ticket, and she was very, very careful. Towards the evening, 4 or 5 o'clock, the baby started to cry, and the baby needed to be picked up as the woman was cooking dinner. She picked up the baby took the ticket from her hand and was playing with the ticket. The mother, who saw the baby take the ticket, tried to take the ticket back, and it fell onto the flame and burnt. They had no more ticket. And the baby started to cry, and then of course the mother started to cry. There was a little girl at home, and she saw the mother starting to cry, she started to cry. Well, the husband passed by one of these kiosks that sold lottery tickets. He saw the numbers and he was thrilled. He said indeed he had won. The winning numbers were his. He comes home, he's in a great mood. He walks into the house and he sees everybody's crying. And he realizes what happens. He no longer is the owner of the ticket. So he starts to cry. So what happened? The baby was crying because he didn't have the blue ticket that he was playing with. The mother was crying because she didn't watch the ticket well. The daughter was crying because she saw her mother crying. But the husband was crying because he knew what fortune they had really lost, and he knew the meaning of the pain that they were really undergoing. Rabbi Katzenellenbogen said to Mr. Singer, you'll be at the wall tonight. Many people will be crying. He said some will be crying because the building was burnt down, the Beis HaMikdash. Others will be crying because the Jews have been in exile for so long. Others will be crying because so many Jews have fallen in war and other things over the years. He said, but Tisha B'Av is about crying because we've lost what's most valuable of everything. And that is our true and deep relationship with God, which was represented by the Holy Temple, by the Beis HaMikdash. And that's what Tisha B'Av is about. To be focusing not just on the sticks and stones that were lost when the building was burned, but to understand that we've really lost the deep, deep spirituality, the deep, meaningful relationship that the Jewish people had with God, and as we as individuals have and could have. To long to have that reestablished, to be rebuilt, if we knew that this is what we were crying about. The eyes, You can cry about many things because the eyes see many things. That's why Jeremiah writes, on these my eyes cry, but my heart mourns for one thing. My heart, my neshama, my soul longs for that relationship with God. And that's what we need to long for, to think and sit a little bit about our relationship, how much it's lost, how much the Jewish people have lost, and to long and hope for its reestablishment when God will ultimately rebuild the Beis HaMikdash. Have a meaningful Tisha B'Av and an easy fast.